Okay, in this second part, I'm gonna teach you what is a decoy. Okay, decoy is a typical method in which we try to force a piece to go into a particular unfavorable square. We can also call this mind square. Once this piece in that square, we can either win the decoyed piece immediately or impose some other tactical methods like pin attack, discover attack, double attack, or even sometimes mating attack. That is possible due to the piece's unfavorable presence of the square. Decoy can also take the form of dragging out your opponent's king in front of the pawn structure without his shelter. The king becomes an easy target of the attacking pieces. Okay, now I'm going to show you an example what is a decoy in this position. Now white is Garry Kasparov and black is Topalov. Okay, now in this position black queen is under attack. He played queen d6 trying to exchange the queens and later capture this d5 pawn and goes into an advantage position. So here Kasparov played, after thinking so much of time, he played a good move forcing a decoy for black. For see, rook into d4. Now the idea is to play rook e7 after c into d4, c into d4. Now rook e7 is a very good move forcing the decoy. Why? Because if after queen into e7, the queen into d4 immediately and king have to come to b8 and q b6 check, bishop b7, knight c6 check, king a8 and queen e7 is a checkmate. So I will show you queen d4, king b8, queen b6, bishop b7, knight c6, king a8 and q a7 is a checkmate. So rook e7, after rook e7, now the decoy comes. Why? Because the king have to go to an unfavorable square where he will be forced to lose a heavy material or with a mating attack. Okay, for example, now if we play king b8, queen into d4, now he is threatening queen a7 checkmate, knight d7, bishop d7, bishop into d5 and c4 with a clear advantage for white. So he have to come to king b6 and queen d4, king into e5. Now the king is going very unfavorable square which the king doesn't like, and now the decoy situation comes for king. After queen c3, now white is threatening q b3 checkmate. Now so he have to play queen d5 and rook a7 threatening rook into a6 is a checkmate. Now I'll show the game as follows. So bishop b7 trying to prevent rook a6. So rook into b7. Now queen c4 for example, queen into f6, king into a3, queen a6 check, king into b4, c3, king into c3, queen a1, king d2, queen b2, king d1 and bishop f1, rook d2, rook d7, rook d7, bishop c4, bc4, queen h8, king d3, and later white can win this position very easily. So this is a good example of what is a decoy and how it comes. The king have to be moved to an unfavorable square, then with the help of the remaining combinations like discover check, double check, pin, double attack, you can win a heavy material or gain a winning position by doing decoy. Okay, now next thing is double attack. Double attack is the most common typical method. It can be successfully applied by every chess piece. This double attack comes with even pawn, bishop, rook, knight, queen or even king. Okay, some other familiar tactical methods or specified cases of double attack are discovered attack is the most effective when the moving piece along threatening some other. This is discover attack if with a king then it is very good for very good form of attack. Okay, likewise clearance and other giving like tempo. For example, if you gain a tempo by giving a double attack will be also a good thing. So I'm gonna show you with an example what is a double attack with a small example. Okay, now e4. I will show you the game very fast. Why? Because this double attack I want to show you just an example. d5, ed5, nc3, qd6, d4, nf6, nf3, nc6, knight b5. This here we usually play c6. So after nc6, nb5, qd8, d5, knight b4, c4, c6, dc6, and queen a5, bishop d2, knight e4, bishop b4, qb4, nd2, rook b8, which is a mistake, and knight c7, king d8, and here comes the double attack with knight d5 attacking the queen and also threatening c7. See, black can neither stop one of these. If he plays queen into d2 and queen into d2 and knight into d2, just c7 wins the rook and becomes queen again. So this is just what is meant by double attack. Double attack is just moving one of your pieces and threatening any of the two pieces of opponent. Not only two, you can double attack like 2 or 3 pieces sometimes. Okay, fine. Now next topic is fork. Usually we describe fork with a knight. Why? Because knights are a very least small pieces that can do a surprisingly huge damage sometimes. Okay, now the knight is considered to be a last powerful piece in chess, maybe besides of the pawn. As the great world champion Jose Repablanca also mentioned, knight is a very low piece, but it can do a much damage in certain positions. Okay, now I'm gonna show you a position where how the knight fork comes and what is the destruction of the knight force. Okay, as I said, knights are the very small pieces, but sometimes it will do a very huge damage, like this position where knights do tremendous damage. See, materially black is black is so much advantage, but see how knights are devastating in this position. For example, see, now white have to play. Just pause this position and think what should white to play and win this game. Okay, I hope some of you might get this position, but let's see what the knight fork can do. First of all, play queen f5 check. Now the king have to grab the queen. There is no other square. King into f5, knight e7 check, giving all the pieces, and see how the knight power of a knight. Rook e7 is a forced move. Why? Because knight into d8, still knight e7, knight into d5 will be going down. So knight e3 check, king f6, knight into d5 check, king f5, knight into e7 check, king f6, knight into g8 check, king f5, knight into e7 check, and king f6, knight d5 check, king f5, and g4 is a checkmate. See the power of knight, grabs all the two rooks and queen, and even finally checkmating the black king. So this is a good example of a knight fork and the power of a knight in certain positions. Okay, in the next part, now we are gonna learn, this is the 7th part. We already learned pin, deflection, overload, decoy, double attack, knight fork. Now we have to learn discovered attack. Okay, discovered attack is one of the most successful attacks in tactical training. So everyone who are very much interested in tactical positions should learn what is a discover attack and what are the positions and things we have to get when you are playing. Okay, discover attack. A discover attack occurs when a piece moves, unmasking an attack from a piece that stands behind it. Obviously, the attacking piece must be a long range line moving piece like bishop, rook, or a queen. When the discover attack is against the king, this is special case that is called a discovered check. If the piece that moves also gives check, then we have a double check, a very dangerous situation for the king, since his only defense in this case is to flee, as it is impossible to block both the checks simultaneously or to capture both pieces at once. A famous attacking mechanism called the seesaw or the windmill, where we'll get mostly with the rooks or sometimes even with queen, bishops. Windmill is like giving checks continuously and grabbing all the opponent's pieces. Is based on replicate discover check that makes possible to capture several pieces because the opponent is busy moving his king out of checks. Okay, now we're gonna see an example regarding discovered attack and check. Okay, for example, this is a position. Okay, this is a good example of okay, this is a good example of discovered check where white will play. I've discovered a battery check. So here white played rook g5. For rook g5 check, there is no other move to play. N d4, bishop e5, and rook e5, h6, rook e7. Now h into g5, knight e6 check, and king g8. Here black resigned. Why? Because after rook g7 he loses all material with a battery, seesaw position. So after king h8, rook into b7, king into king g8, rook g7, king h8, rook a7, king g8, rook a8, if king h7, rook h8 checks, wins the queen, or if king f7, knight g5 wins the queen. So this is a good example of a battery or a seesaw position and a discover check. Now in the next topic we are gonna learn what is a clearance. Okay, clearance. Clearance means sometimes one of our pieces is standing in the way of more important one, but spending time moving that probable piece might give the opponent time to organize his defenses. That is why we may instead seek to sacrifice that piece or a pawn to clear an important line or a square without losing any time, or even better, with a gaining of a time. So clearance means giving away a pawn or a piece which is obstructing our own pieces or our own movement of any of the pieces. So for clearance I'm gonna show you a game for example. Okay, in this example I'm gonna show you what is a clearance and what is its important. So here white played e4, g6, d4, bishop g7, knight c3, knight c6, bishop e3, d5, knight f3, de4, knight e4, knight h6, d5, knight b4. I think black isn't prepared opening very well, so but still this position is clear for a little bit better for white. So after knight b4, q d2,